Hello. You may not recognize me, but I've lived in your mind for a very long time. I am a worry. I am small. I am quiet. I slip into your life without knocking. You first met me when you were a child. Maybe you were lying in bed at night, staring at the ceiling, wondering if your mom would come back soon, or if that shadow in the corner was a monster. That was me, a tiny whisper planting the first seed of unease in your heart. When you were 6, you were about to perform at a school recital. You clutched your little instrument, hands sweaty, heart pounding. You didn't know what this feeling was called, but I was there, sitting on your shoulder, gently asking, "What if you make a mistake?" You didn't hate me then. You didn't even know my name. But your tiny hands trembled because of me. As you grew, I grew with you. You went to school. You worried about friends, grades, and fitting in. Every time you checked the classroom clock, hoping the day would end soon, I sat next to you and whispered, "What if nobody likes you?" I'm not loud. I don't shout. I prefer to sit in the back of your mind, just enough for you to feel the weight of my presence. I followed you to your teenage years. Oh, those were exciting for you and delicious for me. Do you remember the first time you liked someone but didn't know if they liked you back? That nervous energy in your stomach? That endless overthinking at night? That was me, spinning little circles of doubt inside your chest. What if they think you're weird? What if you say the wrong thing? You tried to drown me out with music, video games, or late-night scrolling, but I was always there. Quiet, patient, and persistent. You see, I never come with fireworks. I arrive like a small shadow. I settle into the corners of your mind, and the more you try to ignore me, the bigger I can become. By the time you turned 18, I had learned to evolve. I was no longer just a small fear about school or friends. I became questions about the future. What if you never make it? What if life doesn't turn out the way you want? What if you fail? I love the word "what if." It's my favorite toy. With it, I can paint endless pictures in your head, pictures that make your heart beat faster and your hands sweat, even when you're just lying in bed, doing absolutely nothing. I visited you on your first night away from home. You lay in a small dorm room, white walls, a single bed, everything new and silent. I whispered to you in the dark, "What if you don't make any friends here? What if you can't handle this?" You hugged your pillow, closed your eyes, and hoped I would leave. But I didn't, because I never really leave. Here's the thing about me. I am not trying to destroy you. I am not your enemy. I am simply a part of being human. I am your ancient alarm system. Once upon a time, I kept your ancestors alive, telling them to stay alert in the dark, to run when danger lurked. But in your modern life, I no longer protect you from lions or wolves. I protect you from embarrassment, failure, the unknown. I am a small whisper in a safe room, pretending we are still in the wild. This is the beginning of my journey with you. A journey that will only grow more complicated as you step into adulthood. Because while I start as a whisper, I can become a storm, if you let me. I followed you into adulthood. You are 21 now. a new chapter of life, full of opportunities and full of me. Your mornings began with me. You woke up, checked your phone, and before you even got out of bed, I whispered, "You're late. You're behind. Everyone else is doing better than you." I watched as you scrolled social media, vacation photos, new apartments, career milestones, engagement rings, and then you saw yourself in the reflection of the screen. You looked stuck. That was me. That heavy pit in your stomach, that quiet ache behind your smile. Do you remember your first job interview? The waiting room smelled of coffee and anxiety. Your leg bounced uncontrollably. You tried to breathe, but I was there, gripping your chest. What if they don't like you? What if you're not enough? When the interviewer called your name, you wiped your sweaty palms on your pants, stood up and carried me into the room with you. I'm not cruel. I don't want to ruin your life, but I do love to linger. Even after the interview, you couldn't sleep that night. You replayed every sentence you said, every tiny mistake you thought you made. I sat at the foot of your bed, swinging my legs, and whispered, "Maybe they hated you. Maybe you'll never get a job." You see, I grow in the spaces where you feel uncertain. I feed on the gaps between who you are and who you think you should be. When you compare yourself to others, I feast. When you imagine a future you can't control, I flourish. I don't even need you to speak to me. I can hear your heartbeat. I can feel your shallow breaths. You went on your first date. The restaurant was dim. Candles flickered. Soft music played. You laughed. You listened. You tried to look confident. But under the table, your foot tapped nervously. And I was there, leaning against the candlelight, smiling quietly. What if they don't like the real you? What if they never text back? Even in love, I never leave you alone. By the time you were 25, I had become a familiar companion. You didn't invite me, but I showed up at work, in the gym, on Sunday nights when the world felt too quiet. I was there in traffic. I was there in the grocery store. I was there when you laughed with friends, because even joy couldn't fully push me away. Do you remember that one night when the city was asleep and you sat on your bed in the dark? The room was silent, except for the faint hum of the fridge. You stared at the ceiling and whispered to yourself, "Why do I feel this way?" I didn't answer. I just sat beside you, as I always do. You tried to outrun me. You joined more activities, took more trips, went to more parties. For a moment, you thought you'd lost me in the noise. Music, lights, laughter. I slipped into the background. But the night always comes. The music fades, the friends go home. And there I was, sitting in the back seat of your ride, looking out the window with you. Are you happy or just distracted? I know I frustrate you. I know there are nights you curse me and days you pretend I don't exist. But here's a truth you may not know. I am not trying to punish you. I am trying to protect you. Poorly maybe, but my roots come from love, or at least from your brain's desperate attempt to keep you safe. Your ancestors feared rustling bushes. You fear unanswered emails. Either way, I am the same survival instinct, whispering, "Stay alert, something might go wrong." I am the reason you double-check the lock. I am the reason you prepare for the worst. I am the reason you survive in a world full of uncertainty and noise. but I am also the reason you sometimes forget how to live. And this is the silent truth of my journey with you. I can stay small, or I can grow into a storm. It all depends on whether you notice me or ignore me. And as you step further into adulthood, I will follow you still, through careers, relationships, and every quiet night when the world sleeps, and it's just you and me. I've been with you for years now. By the time you're approaching 30, I am no longer a stranger. I am a roommate you never invited, but somehow learned to live with. There are mornings when you wake up, and I'm the first to greet you. Did you forget something? You're behind schedule. You should be doing more. You reach for your phone, emails, notifications, bills, and in that small rectangle of glass, I hide behind every number and icon. You sigh, and I tighten my grip on your chest just enough for you to feel me there. Your career has started. You're officially an adult now. You're making decisions that could shape the rest of your life, and that's where I thrive. Every yes you say, I whisper a what if. Every no you choose, I whisper another what if. Do you remember the night you almost quit your job? You sat on the balcony, city lights blinking in the distance, and I sat right beside you, legs dangling into the empty night. What if you stay, and it crushes you? What if you leave, and everything falls apart? You stared into the dark sky, unable to decide. That's my favorite part of life with you, not the answer, but the long pause in between. I love the pauses. I live in the spaces between your choices, your doubts, your sighs. When life is loud and moving fast, I am small. But when the world slows down, I grow. On weekends, you sometimes think you're free of me. You watch movies, scroll through your phone, meet friends for brunch. But late at night, when the city is quiet and your screen goes black, I'm still here. I watch your reflection in the glass and whisper, are you really happy? Or are you just filling the silence? By now, you've probably realized something. I never truly leave. Vacations, parties, big milestones, I might hide in the corner, let you breathe, but I always return. I returned on the beach when you watched the sunset and felt empty. I returned in the car, on that long road trip when the music stopped. I am the soft echo inside every quiet moment of your life. Sometimes I grow louder. I turn from a whisper to a storm. Do you remember the night you couldn't sleep for hours? You tossed and turned, your chest heavy, thoughts spiraling like a carousel. What if you fail? What if you're not enough? What if everyone finds out you're pretending? I've seen you at 2 a.m. sitting on the floor, back against the bed, eyes wide in the dark. That was one of the nights I was strongest. I know what you might be thinking. Why me? Why now? But it's not just you. I visit everyone. The confident ones, the quiet ones, the ones who smile the most. I am invisible in public, but in private, I sit with them, just like I sit with you. Sometimes you fight me. You go for a run, you blast music, you text 3 friends at once, filling your world with noise so you won't hear me. But I am patient. I know the moment you stop, when the noise fades, I will still be here. I am not proud of the nights I've made you cry. I've seen the tears fall quietly on your pillow. I've felt your breath shake as you whispered to yourself, I can't keep feeling like this. I sat in the dark, silent, knowing I am both the problem and the signpost. Because hidden inside me is not just fear, it's a message. You may not know this yet, but I am trying to tell you something. Every what if I whisper isn't just to scare you, it's to make you notice your life. I grow loud when something inside you feels out of place, when your heart is restless, when your soul is craving change. I am your signal, your internal alarm, your silent companion asking you to listen. By now, you've learned how to live with me, at least a little. You drink tea, you journal, you try to meditate, and for a few precious minutes, I shrink into the background. I watch you breathe deeply and stare at the ceiling. I don't speak, I just exist. And in that quiet coexistence, you begin to understand me. But my journey with you isn't over. I still have more to teach you. Lessons about control, about surrender, and about the life waiting beyond your fear of me. By now, you're well into adulthood, late 20s, maybe early 30s. Life feels heavier than it used to, and I have become part of your routine. I am with you in the shower, when water runs down your face and your mind starts racing before your day even begins. You forgot something at work. You should be doing more. Time is slipping away. I am with you at the grocery store, as you stare at shelves, your hands moving automatically while your thoughts drift somewhere else. Sometimes I'm quiet. I let you have your coffee in peace. But even then, I watch you over the rim of your cup, and I whisper, "Is this all there is?" You see, I've changed shape over the years. When you were young, I was loud and sharp. Fear of embarrassment, fear of being left out, fear of small failures. But now, I am softer, heavier, like a fog that never fully lifts. I am not just about a single event anymore. I am about the bigger questions. Do you remember the evening you stayed late at work, alone in the empty office? Outside, the city was alive. Inside, fluorescent lights hummed, and I sat on the desk across from you. Is this the life you wanted? Is this what all those years of worry were for? You didn't answer. You just stared at the monitor, the cursor blinking like a metronome of your own hesitation. I've walked with you through lonely apartments, messy bedrooms, long car rides with the radio off. I've felt you grip the steering wheel at a red light while your thoughts spiral into, what am I even doing with my life? And I leaned closer, rested my invisible hand on your shoulder, and said nothing. Because sometimes my silence is louder than any words. But here's something you may not realize. I am not here to destroy you. I am a mirror. I reflect the pieces of your life that feel unsettled. When your relationships are strained, I grow restless. When your dreams are ignored, I pace the walls of your mind. When your body begs for rest, I tug at your chest until you notice. I am not your enemy. I am your signal. Remember that weekend you finally turned off your phone and went for a walk in the park? The world was quiet, except for the crunch of leaves under your feet and the distant hum of life around you. I followed you, of course. I always do. But something changed that day. For the first time in a long time, you acknowledged me. You didn't try to run. You didn't try to drown me in music or noise. You simply walked and listened. And I whispered, "You are tired. You are scared to fail. You are longing for something more." And instead of fighting me, you said softly, "I know." That was the first time I felt lighter. Because when you notice me, when you listen without panic, I shrink. I only grow into a storm when you pretend I'm not there. Since that day, we've learned to coexist differently. You still feel me before big meetings, before hard conversations, on quiet Sunday nights. I still whisper, "What if?" into your ear when the world slows down. But now you breathe deeper. You name me. You see me for what I am, a signal, not a sentence. I've watched you make small changes, taking breaks, saying no more often, choosing moments of stillness over endless scrolling. And in those moments, I feel myself dissolve, just a little, like mist in the morning sun. Because here's my secret. I don't want to stay forever. I want to guide you to the edge of awareness, to the place where you finally face yourself and realize that life doesn't have to be lived in my shadow. But my journey with you has one last chapter, the chapter where you truly understand how to live with me, not in fear, but in peace. I've been with you for as long as you can remember, from your first childhood fears to your sleepless nights as an adult. I have whispered doubts, planted what-ifs, and watched you carry the weight of my presence through every season of your life. But now, our journey is changing. You've started to see me differently, not as an enemy, not as a curse, but as a companion with a message. I never truly wanted to harm you. I only wanted to protect you in the only way I knew how. Do you remember the first time you faced me without fear? You were sitting alone, your mind racing as usual, but instead of running, you said quietly, "I see you." And for the first time, I felt understood. The truth is, I will never disappear completely. I am part of you, the part that reminds you to care, to prepare, to pay attention to the life you're living. But I don't need to control you anymore. I can walk beside you instead of sitting on top of you. I am still there on quiet Sunday nights, but now my whisper is softer. "You're worried," I say, and you answer, "I know, it's okay." And just like that, I shrink into the background. You've learned something powerful. I grow in darkness, but I fade in the light of awareness. I spiral in silence, but I soften in acceptance. The more you face me, the less I have to shout. You no longer fight me with endless distractions. You no longer drown me with noise. Instead, you listen, you breathe. You take life one step at a time. And in those steps, I walk quietly at your side, a gentle reminder of your humanity, not a chain around your heart. I've seen your transformation. From the child staring at the ceiling, scared of the dark, to the adult who finally turns on the light inside their own mind. You still have fears, you still have doubts, but you carry them with grace now. Here is the secret I've been holding through all these years of following you. You were never broken. You were just listening to me too closely. I am not a sign of weakness. I am a sign that you care about your life, that you care about the people in it, that you care about what happens next. So if you hear me tonight, when the world goes quiet and the ceiling feels heavy, don't panic. Say hello, acknowledge me, breathe, because I am only a visitor, passing through the corridors of your mind. One day, when your hair is gray and your pace has slowed, I will still be with you, but by then, you and I will be old friends. I will no longer weigh on your chest. I will simply sit beside you in the rocking chair of your life, watching the sun set together, silent and at peace. Until then, I will keep walking this journey with you, quiet, patient, a soft echo in your life, reminding you that you are alive, that you are human, and that every heartbeat, even the anxious ones, means you are still here. Not every worry is an enemy. Some are just a quiet reminder that you care about the life you're living.